You're listening to the Leafs Fan United podcast. Tate Harris, Cody Wall.
Cody, I must have had the headphones turned up all the way. I'm sorry about that.
We gotta leave that in the video. Just me screaming. We gotta leave that in.
All right, let's get into this again. Sorry about that rough start, guys. Again, welcome back to the Leafs Fans United podcast. This is episode 3. Things are going well for us.
Yeah.
We got 50 listeners, at least each episode.
50,000 listeners.
50,000. If we can bump that up, get your moms to watch it, get your dads to watch it, get your brothers, sisters, whoever. Just whoever.
Get my mom to watch it.
Yeah. My mom watches it.
There's no shame in watching it 10 times.
Yeah, my dad just shared it actually.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool of him. So let's get into it. The Maple Leafs won against the Montreal Canadiens 6-0. Matthews returned. What did you think of that game there, Cody?
I like that game a lot. I know the stat or the numbers look like Montreal, like the shots at least.
It was only two shots difference.
Yeah, but like
you could notice it in the first 16 to 7, I think. Yeah.
And that's always been a thing with the Leafs. We've always been slow starters, even going back to last season.
Yeah.
But I liked the game. I thought once we switched up the lines, we played really well, which is why I'm somewhat disappointed that the lines went back.
Yeah, it's interesting that Babcock would just switch him right back. Like he's such a weird coach sometimes.
Yeah.
I know he said, I think Kristen Shilton tweeted this out, that he said, well, once you're the coach, you can make your decisions, but I'm the coach and I want to win. So, it's just like he's kind of got that attitude towards him that he knows best. So it's kind of interesting to see the lines go back, especially when Marner and Matthews look so well. But you said it earlier, like in the school year, and when we've talked, you said, because people were getting down on Marner, and people were talking about how Nylander and Matthews might be the greatest line this year, which, I mean, Stamkos and Kucherov are like, nope. Yeah. But you said if you put Marner in Nylander's position, people would be talking about Marner and Matthews in that way.
Well, I just think Marner's a better fit because Marner is a pure playmaker and Matthews is a goal scorer. And I think Nylander has the mentality that I think Nylander wants to be the goal scorer. And he's not going to have that opportunity as long as he's on Matthews' wing. Yeah. That's why I think he would actually benefit. Like, if he swapped and put him with Bozak, Bozak is a playmaker. I mean, you could put him with Kadri, but Kadri's evolved into a sniper. So, at least over the past couple seasons he has. He shoots more.
Yeah, he is shooting more. So, it's pretty interesting to see. Everything good with your levels there? Can you hear?
Yep.
Yeah? I still can't hear myself for some reason. There we go. That was loud. Again, yeah,
very loud.
It's gonna be interesting to hear see it on the video. So I mean, it's now a 6-game winning streak. Yeah. They beat Montreal pretty good. That New Jersey game,
you called it.
Yeah, I called it 1-0. Yeah. In the last podcast, if you listen, I did say it was 1-0 because I feel it's so funny. All the games that you don't expect to be, or you expect to be high scoring, just haven't been this year. Like the Washington game and now the second Devils game. So it's
fun fact. We actually recorded that episode after the New Jersey game.
What do you mean?
I'm joking.
Oh, okay.
That's how you predicted the score.
Yeah, that's how I predicted the score.
That went right over your head.
Yeah, I'm like, what is he talking about? Don't take away from my thunder. Is there anything that you've kind of seen in the 6-game winning streak that where you're still it doesn't feel like they won 6 games in a row?
No, they've still had problems. Mm-hmm. I think the past 2 games, Anderson has been phenomenal. So that masks all the problems. Like, I gotta stop saying but he's played really well. Like, we wrote down that he's the second star of the week. Yeah, well deserved back-to-back shutouts. I thought he played really good against New Jersey. That was a really goaltending duo. Snyder played unbelievable too. Yeah, it was very, very good game for Anderson. He's looked really well. Yeah.
I guess this is going to be a trend for him. That's 2 years in a row that we've had him where his Novembers have been amazing. Yep. His Octobers, not so much. So it's kind of interesting to see that. I wonder why he starts slower, even this year, because in the preseason, everyone talked about how good he looked. He did look really sharp, and Babcock said how he came prepared, in shape, I think was the word. Yeah. he was hurt last year, so I hate saying he was in shape. But so it's really cool to see him play so well.
Even Anaheim fans, when we traded for him and he was struggling last year, people on Reddit and stuff were saying, Anaheim fans were saying that Anderson's typically been a slow starter. And there's goalies like that. Like, I know Luongo's a slow starter. I know Lundqvist is a slow starter. So there's some goalies that just, it takes them a month or so to get going.
Yeah, where do you think, or where would you like his save percentage to end up at the end of the season? Because it's back, it's to a 914, which isn't...
It's not, it's not top end of the league, but it's...
actually, this year...
Yeah. Yeah, I know. What's the average, 910 this year?
Yeah, 910 this year. So he's an above average goalie right now after that horrible October.
Yeah. Ideally, I would want him somewhere in the same range he was last year, like 918-ish.
Yeah.
If he could get up to 920, but that's asking a lot. Like a 920 is like, you can argue there's like top 15, top 10 goalie in the league. So
yeah.
If he can stay above average or even average, I think we can get by because we're so good at scoring. I think if we can get average goaltending, we'll go pretty far.
Do you think he'll play as many games as last year? That's kind of interesting to me.
I think he'll play more.
You think he'll play more?
I think he'll play more because look at how many games McElhinney has been in. Like, he's only getting the back-to-backs.
True, but how many back-to-backs are there?
I'm
sure. I don't know if you can look that up.
I could. Might take an hour and a half, but we'll figure this out. Yeah, he's a... Yeah, I think he'll slot in somewhere around 65-ish, maybe. 70 is really pushing it, especially for goalies. I've never been a fan of playing a goalie that much in the regular season because come playoffs, they're gassed.
Exhausted. But to me, it's just interesting because this year they're kind of in a different situation. They have a bit of a goalie depth in the minors right now with Pickard and Sparks.
Yep.
So to me, it's just kind of interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they play.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think Anderson knows he can't have a couple bad games or else he's probably replaced.
Anderson or McElhinney?
McElhinney, sorry.
I was going to say, if they're replacing Anderson after a couple bad games, he would have been gone in October.
McElhinney.
Yeah, no, I definitely get what you're saying. Another interesting thing that I've noticed with the Leafs is Roman Polak.
Yeah.
Is he gone? He's...
Well, did you see... I know someone posted on Twitter with Polak in the lineup. We were 1-4, and you can't blame everything on Polak.
No, you can't.
But it's just funny.
It definitely slowed down the back end. You can say that.
Yeah.
The thing I did notice with Polak in the lineup, though, is Borgman was a little more offensive.
Yeah.
So...
Well, I think that's Borgman's game. I think he's more of an offensive guy than he is a shutdown guy.
Yeah, I'm just saying you don't see as much with Carrick.
Yeah.
Maybe he feels like he has to stick back when Carrick, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was big on Carrick last season. I've not been impressed with him at all this year.
I don't know what's going on. It could be a confidence thing.
Like, even, I know people say we got to improve top 4, which we do. Mm. But I think even if we improve like our number 6, we would be a better team.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I said that last time. That I don't understand why we can't trade one of these wingers that everybody loves. That Leafs Nation loves.
Yeah.
For a bottom 6 guy the shutdown guy that just has better legs than Polak. Like, I'm okay with getting a player like Polak, but that can skate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and maybe Vancouver has the answer there.
Yeah. Vancouver.
What's it? How do you say?
Branson.
Branson. Yeah, I always mix up the names. I did that earlier.
But he's gonna want a lot of money.
Yeah.
He's probably gonna ask for about $5 million when his contract's up at the end of the year.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe no thanks. The other interesting thing about defensemen is Bob Mckenzie talked about it, and he's got an article out, possibly Ekman Larsson. Now, he kind of got radioed a bit today, because we were just scrolling through Twitter trying to find our topics to talk about today, and you see Leafs show significant interest in Ekman Larsson. So when you read that, you think, oh man, they're about to pull the trigger on something. Like something might happen.
A mini panic attack about Marner.
Yeah. Cody's a big Marner fan, so he thinks, because you think Ekman Larsson, you would think one of the big 3, obviously not Matthews, would have to be traded.
Yeah.
You listen to the interview and you read the story, or like either or, whatever you end up doing.
Yeah.
They actually haven't talked yet.
No. It's all speculation.
Yeah, it's all speculation. Mckenzie basically says Steve Simmons mentioned it. Arizona's in town. These kind of things come up. Like I remember, a couple years ago when Stamkos came to town before his free agency there, every single time. It looks like he's coming. He even liked that TSN tweet, which was crazy.
I think he's just a troll.
I think so. That was funny.
It was funny.
But it is interesting because a player like that would definitely help the back end.
Well, I think it makes us contenders. If we had a defenseman like that, I think we're legitimate contenders.
And we were trying to think of a way to basically make that trade without giving away Marner or Nylander.
It's so hard.
It's hard.
And you try not to sound like a homer, and you try and make it so it's a fair trade both ways. But
at the end of the day, you feel like we overvalue our pieces because we think Kapanen's an NHLer.
Yeah, some fans don't.
Some fans don't on other teams, even though the Vancouver fans talking about he's just being an AHL scorer.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, like, it's debatable just because of the lineup the Leafs have. He's having trouble getting into the lineup. He really hasn't produced while he's been up there, just those few big goals.
Yeah.
So
when he was playing fourth line minutes.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So it's so tough to actually judge.
I like Kapanen. I think he could be a top 620 goal scorer. He's not going to be that with the Leafs because there's no room for him to be that.
Mm-hmm. But on a team like Arizona where they're looking for centers, what's the deal you create to get Larsson there?
I don't know. It's such a hard thing. Like I mentioned before the podcast, like we got Liljegren. Do you risk giving up an 18-year-old defenseman who was projected to go top 5 who fell because of mono?
And then is performing well in the AHL.
And he's playing well in the AHL. And, like, the argument there is, what is the odds that Liljegren becomes as good as Ekman Larsson does? Like, most people think Liljegren is going to be a very good top 4 defenseman. Mm-hmm. Some people see him as a number 1 defenseman. I don't know if he's going to be that. We'll see in time. But Ekman Larsson, if he played in any other market, he would be nominated for Norris's. Like, he's that good.
The other thing to me when you talk about trading Liljegren is we looked it up, the past drafts of Arizona in the last 2 drafts, or was it 3?
They've been taking a lot.
They've been taking a lot D.
Yeah. So they're obviously looking for defensive help.
Yeah, they're looking for defensive help.
But you can also argue that they already have a lot of young defensemen in their organization. So like, obviously, I'm not saying Liljegren for Ekman Larsson 1-for-1. That's not going to happen. You're probably Liljegren's a piece, probably a first rounder in there.
And
Kapanen as well.
But I mean, at the end of the day, they're looking for center. That's their number 1 need.
Yeah.
And we don't have, and that's why Nylander or even Marner, they might be able to try Marner. I know you don't want to give up Marner.
No.
I wouldn't want to. Okay, so if you had to pick, you would. If you had to pick Nylander or Marner, like put a deal together with Nylander or Marner. Does that change the deal? Are we throwing in a first then?
I don't think so. If you throw in Nylander or Marner, I don't think you're throwing in a first. I think if you're looking like that, maybe you go something like Liljegren, Nylander, and a B-level prospect, maybe someone like or even like a guy like Soshnikov or Levo. Because Nylander obviously has a lot of trade value. Liljegren is a first-round defenseman, so you're getting a defenseman back, and then Levo or Soshnikov can play in your lineup.
Do you think? So say a trade goes through.
Yeah.
And we give up Nylander, Liljegren, Levo, or something like that.
Yeah.
And Ekman Larsson comes into the lineup there.
Yeah.
Do you think like that changes some of the chemistry? Like would Riley, because Riley's having a great season.
Yeah, Riley would have to accept that he's number 2.
He's gonna be
He's not the guy on the back end anymore.
No.
And you look at Riley's season, and he's playing like a number 1.
Mm.
So even though he's not getting number 1 minutes, he's producing and playing like a number 1. So we also mentioned maybe you can make a package where you give Gardner back as a piece because then they get a top 4 defenseman who I believe is about the same age. Gardner might be a year or 2 older. I think Ekman Larsson is 20. Oh, Ekman Larsson is 26, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Gardner is 27 and 28. So there's that.
Yeah, that would be interesting because, I mean, in the summer, Arizona made it very public that they wanted to make the playoffs.
Yep.
And it was something they were going to try to do. That's why they moved past
They traded
Rendon.
the top 10 pick to the Rangers.
Yeah.
7th overall for Ranta and Stepan.
Yeah, so they were making a push. So would a piece like Gardner actually help because they don't want to. They're not rebuilding again, is what I'm saying. So like giving up Ekman Larsson.
Yeah, I don't get why they would do that if they're trying to make the playoffs because Gardner's a downgrade.
Yeah, so
I think maybe
they're just saying they're getting pieces. Like if you do Gardner, Bozak, Kapanen, a first, that's a lot. You're giving a lot, but
well, he's that good.
Yeah, I know. You're giving. Well, I'm just saying
you gotta pay.
It starts to change your lineup though too. Like so then Marleau would play center for the rest of the season.
Yeah, Marleau would get shifted to center.
It would be interesting.
It would be weird, and then you wouldn't be. Most people think when either JVR or Bozak gets traded, Kapanen would be the one up. But I think Kapanen would be included in the deal, so he wouldn't be the one coming up.
Yeah.
But then you saw a guy like Levo there, probably. Yeah, probably a guy like Levo or Soshnikov in that spot. I'm just trying to think.
Yeah, it's hard.
At the end of the day, I don't think you can get a deal done if Nylander or Marner isn't out of that package.
Yeah, and Bob Mckenzie, I don't want to spoil the article.
Yeah.
So go read it. But basically, at the end of the day, Arizona's looking for centermen.
We don't really
have a centerman to give them.
Unless you're giving Kadri, but I don't want to give up Kadri.
That's the thing. Like, you start your strongest point, you start taking away from your strongest thing.
You're taking strength to adjust a weakness, but then your strength is no longer your strength.
Yeah, because if you get rid of Kadri,
our center depth looks pretty weak.
Yeah, exactly. And then you start hearing talks of, well, they need a second line center, right?
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to do and trying to make a deal like that. That deal's not going to happen.
Yeah, I just think the best thing the Leafs can do is buy time and wait for either. Maybe Riley is. This is a sign that this is what Riley is, and Riley is our number one defense. Or maybe we buy time until some of the defensemen with the Marlies come up, or maybe we find someone in free agency. Or even if we can, I don't think we need a top. It would help if we had a top pair of defensemen to pair with Riley, but I think if we could just get.
Well, Hainsey looks fine.
Yeah.
To me, it's finding someone
for Gardner
or Zaitsev.
I like Zaitsev on the third pair, just getting a lot of special team time. He can still get 22 or odd minutes a night. Just load him up on penalty kill, because you see how much he plays on the penalty kill. Yeah. He's gonna burn out if he keeps playing top 4 minutes and playing that much on the penalty kill.
Do you think he looked good with Borgman though?
Yeah, maybe you put him with Borgman and then.
Well, you don't play him with Carrick.
No, obviously.
If we get another defenseman, Carrick's the guy who's coming out.
Carrick's the 7th guy. He's the new Frankie Corrado.
Yeah, you would be, eh?
Yeah.
That'd be sad. I mean, he's got trade value, though, I would say.
But at this point, it sounds harsh, but I'm kind of, Carrick's had opportunities to, solidify his role. He's had the opportunity to lock down that spot, and his play hasn't. So, he sat for Pollock, for God's sake.
Well, he's even been given opportunities on the fourth pair, on the top 4.
Yeah,
with Gardner.
Last year he played most of the season with Gardner. Last year.
And then they even did it a few times this year when they were messing around. Not really.
Yeah,
his minutes were still limited, but he was still playing with Gardner.
I just don't think Babcock trusts him at all. Because I remember the interview with him when he was asked why he plays Hainsey and Zaitsev so much on the penalty kill, and he was saying it's because he those guys he trusts.
Mm-hmm.
Even Riley, I wish played. It's weird. Riley went from playing no power play and all penalty kill to hardly any penalty kill and a lot of power play.
Yeah, that's
that's so strange.
How did what was their penalty kill rated last season?
I'll look that up while you talk. Because
it's interesting that he would take him off. I don't think they were bottom 15 at all. I think they were top 10, to be honest. But I'm not exactly sure. So and they were a playoff team. Is it managing minutes again? But if you're a number one defenseman, I would say you have to play anywhere 20 plus minutes.
Yeah.
Think of every number one defenseman in the league.
Number one defenseman play around 25-ish.
So
And Riley's playing 21 right now, so he's really not a number one. He's just producing like a number one. Who says that keeps up, though? Like,
Yeah, but
he's going to fall back a little bit. Like, there's no way he's putting up, like, 65 points from the back end.
oh, he is.
He is.
He
But
will.
I could definitely see him cracking 45, 50.
Yeah.
He seems to be getting more goals this year, which I've always
Yeah.
never... That's always been what I thought was Riley's biggest weakness, his shot from the point. Like, he still doesn't have a slap shot, but I think he's accepted that.
And he gets the puck to the net.
Yeah.
That's the big thing that's going on right now.
Well, I know we talked about it before, but, like, we see at least one player game where Riley just goes. It's
Yeah.
like, I'm taking this puck. And most of the time it works out.
It does, yeah. I think he's having a great season. I think he can get around 50 points. So
But let me ask, do you think Riley eventually is the number one defenseman?
I think he is.
I do too.
I know a lot of people say you hit your prime around 23 now.
Not defensemen, though. Defensemen hit their prime later than forwards do.
Yeah?
Yeah, defensemen, I know they typically say, I know Riley's played a lot of games for how young he is, but they typically say that a defenseman finds his game around 25-ish,
And he's 23.
23.
Same age as myself.
You're old.
Whatever, man. Well, how old are you?
I'm 21.
Well, there you go, man. So either way, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I do think Riley can be the number one guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like a 6 guy or just anyone to kind of move down the lineup. Josh Manson you definitely convinced me on that. I definitely think he's like the guy that we need. But again, that's something you're not giving up as much for Manson than Ekman Larsson. No.
I've jumped on the whole David Savard trade from Columbus.
Really?
Like, I saw a speculation of that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would go for that. That's nice. Because he's a top 4 right-handed defenseman.
Yeah.
Give me.
Yeah. Whatever. Like I said,
Give me any top 4.
yeah, I'm not talking Norris. I'm just saying someone that's defensively minded.
Yeah. We don't need, like, people throwing out Sammy Vatanen. I'm like, no more small offensive defensemen.
Yeah.
We need a shutdown guy, or we at least need a two-way guy.
Because look at how well Hainsey has worked with Riley.
Yep.
You can't say
That's
that.
I thought Hainsey was getting too much hate, but that's a surprise. I didn't think he would be this good. Like,
Yeah.
I know he's not lighting any worlds on fire, but he's just steady.
He's just steady. So, anyways, we're like we said, we always have some audio issues about halfway through. So we're gonna take a break. We're just gonna check on everything, make sure everything's working, and we'll be right back in a second.
Okay.
Okay, guys, welcome back. Again, can I just explain what happened at the start of the
go
video?
for it.
So, I mean, at the start of the podcast, I accidentally left our headphones way too high.
Yep.
And the music sound way too high. And that comment, it was so loud, it scared me. I jumped in the video. If you go on YouTube, watch the video of us. Yeah. We definitely jumped. That was scary.
Yeah. Terrifying.
So basically, before the intro, because the actual like soundboard is in a different part of the studio, so I set it all up, and then we walked back, so we have a tone to go off to let us know when the intro is about to start, so we can stop talking. It was so loud. Anyways, it looks like our sounds have been good lately.
Yeah. I think we figured this out.
Yeah, I think we figured this out. The little intermissions are definitely helping us out a bit.
We'll cut the intermissions out as we get more comfortable with the soundboard.
Yeah. Basically, we're recording this at school, at our studio.
Yeah.
And they got a makeshift soundboard. I think we explained this last time. And you got to restart the computer and stuff or it distorts the sound there.
Yeah.
So, weird thing. Anyways, big game tonight.
Yep.
Against the hot Arizona Coyotes. Coming off a 2-game winning streak, the Arizona
Blame
Coyotes. Coyotes. What did I say? Coyotes? I don't know.
I don't know.
That sounds weird. Either way, it's always cool when Arizona comes to town for me because of Max Domi.
Yeah.
I always think he missed. I think he missed last year's, right? He was hurt.
Yeah.
But the game before that, he got in his first NHL fight against Peter Holland.
Yeah.
And he scored a goal, power play goal. So that's pretty cool. I'm sure he's going to turn it on tonight. The only difference, though, which is kind of weird, is the first time he came, everyone was talking about it. Like, oh, Ty. And he's like, I grew up here. But the thing now, people are talking like, Matthews, you're playing your hometown town team.
Overshadowed.
Yeah, so a little overshadowed. So I guarantee you Domi has a great game tonight. I don't know how you feel about that, but
7 goals.
7 goals.
7 goals. 1 for every shift.
How do you think this game's going to turn out?
We
should win.
We should win.
We should win. We're playing the last place team. This team didn't have a regulation win in their first 20 games.
Yeah.
We're going to lose it, aren't we?
We should win this. I've been negative on the Leafs the last couple podcasts when we make our predictions.
Yeah, you just jinxed it.
I'm going to say we're going to win this one.
People, you know the dangle jinx? There's one thing worse. The wall jinx.
The wall jinx.
Whoops, I keep hitting stuff here. But yeah, I don't think they're going to win tonight.
Oh,
I think maybe I'm just okay. All right.
They're going to win.
They're going to win.
They're going to win 17-2.
It's going to be 3-0. The Toronto Maple Leafs are going to win. What about Florida? Florida's an interesting team. You remember they won the division.
They were up and coming.
Yeah.
And then they just fell off because they made a shift in general managers for one season, promoted Talon, then remade him GM after 1 year. They traded away Grabranson. There was that thing where Florida was going to trade for Grabranson again, get him back for Vancouver, but Jason Demers denied the trade to Vancouver because he didn't want to go play with the smelly Canucks.
Yeah.
So, it's an interesting team, and they lost Riley Smith to Vegas
and
Marchessault.
Yeah,
Marshmallow Boy.
Yeah, that was weird when they made that trade.
Yeah.
What? Why? I don't know. It's just a lot of people blame it on analytics too, saying they were too focused on analytics. Do you believe that?
Maybe. I don't know. Every team in the league looks at analytics now. I don't think any team in the league is strictly looking at numbers. You can't be.
Yeah.
Like, I love numbers, but there's stuff that they can't. Like, I go on about how Jade Gardner is like, you can't use Corsi for him.
No.
Because he'll have a dominant game. His Corsi's typically always been well above 50% and well above his peers.
Mm-hmm.
But he always has 1 or 2 stupid plays. And it's like, okay, I know you controlled the game for most of the game, but then you just cost us the game right there.
Yeah, remember that stat I said we should make up to, like turnovers resulting in a goal?
Yeah. There probably is a stat like that.
There probably is.
We just don't have access to it.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason that it's not like a public stat because like there's probably turnovers that lead to a goal that aren't like that person's fault. They're just the last person to touch the puck or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can see an issue with it there, but yeah, they need something. So it'll be interesting to see the game tonight. A lot of these players know each other. Like you take a look at our young guys. A lot of them played with the young guys on Arizona. Did Marner play with Domi? Yeah,
I don't think did he play with Domi? Yeah, he played with Domi.
Because he got sent back, right?
Played with Domi. He definitely Dvorak was his line mate.
Yeah,
and one of the best 1-2 in the
and then
OHL.
Matthews played with Dvorak and Fisher.
Yeah.
Did
he play
Clayton
with Keller?
Keller?
Yeah, Keller. Trying to think who else is on that. Is that it?
I think that's
might be it.
And I'm sure Nylander's probably played against these guys and sometime.
Yeah, at least at the Worlds.
The Worlds, and like they all seem to know each other.
Yeah. Well, Matthews took. Who did he take out? Fisher and Keller.
And Keller, yeah.
We were looking. He took him out to a steak place.
Yeah, Jacob's Steakhouse. Now we're not from Toronto.
No. So we were like, because they commented about how it was such a nice place to eat, and they're not taking him out to somewhere like that. We just joking like, how much was there was like steaks for like $240. Like, come on, $240 for a steak.
Yeah. I think Matthews knows he's gonna hit all his bonuses again this year.
Just imagine you take 3 people out. That's like a $750 more than It's like a close to $800 tap, and then you imagine. I bet you the waiter got like a $200 tip.
Oh yeah, well they're getting drinks too.
Probably comes up to well over $1,000. I mean, for him though, like come on, $5,000 is probably equivalent to $10.
Yeah, but man, that's a lot of money just for a night. You know what I'm saying? Popping bottles, I guess. So yeah, I mean, so Arizona will be a fun game, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The only thing that I don't like is when there's a lot of friends involved. Maybe it's not going to be as rough, or maybe it might be rougher. But normally in those types of games, it's usually like a high pace, like a good pace, a lot of skill, which is
those
nice.
are the games I like the most.
Yeah?
The ones where it's just like back and forth skill. I know coaches hate those types of games, but as a fan, those are the most entertaining to watch.
Yeah, for sure. And I know a lot of people get on the NHL for goals, but like I like those close 1-0 games as long as there's chances going.
Yeah,
if they're both doing the trap.
Like that. The New Jersey game was a really good game, and it was a goal. It was a 1-0 win in overtime with 2 seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was just a back and forth. Anderson was playing great. Snyder robbing the Leafs 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. And then when they play Florida, do you have a prediction? A prediction. I don't know what's going on. I need some water. How do you think that game's going to go?
We should win that too. Like you're looking at the standings. These are games where you make up, like not make up points, but you gain points to cushion your lead.
Yeah, I was just trying to check. What are the Leafs? What's the Leafs record right now? 14-7.
14-7, 28 points.
28 points.
I believe we're the only team in our conference who doesn't have an overtime point yet, which might come back. I don't think we're gonna fall out of the playoffs.
Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
I think that could be taken both ways. Like I think Ottawa fans are overvaluing their team right now just because they're staying in it because of all the losses. But a loss is a loss. Yeah,
but when you that means my team at least got to overtime. We're not getting smoked out. Like when the Leafs lose, they lose.
Yeah.
You know, at least
Ottawa's really good at keeping it close.
Yeah, at least with some of these other teams, they're having these close games or they make the comeback and at least get to overtime. Where the Leafs, you don't find that happening. But at the same time, you're like they're still over 500. They're still winning more games. So it's kind of tough to.
The Leafs are the only team in our conference that doesn't have an overtime point.
Is there anyone in the league?
Yes, there's 4 teams.
4 teams? We're 4 teams.
The Leafs. There's Calgary. There is San Jose, and who's the 4th one? And great radio. Did I say Calgary? Maybe there's 3 teams. There's 3 teams.
3 teams?
3 teams.
It's still pretty interesting. Yeah, so, the Florida Panthers, what? Honestly, I haven't been paying attention to the Florida Panthers at all. Last year, there was so much talk about them with the way they fired Gallant there and the whole analytics. They went analytics route. There's a lot of press on Florida. This year, there's really been nothing.
Yeah, they only have 7 wins this year. So
How are their players performing, though? Do you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about Aaron Ekblad.
No. It's been very quiet.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
Vincent Trocheck, 21 points in 20 games. Jonathan Huberdeau, 21 points in 20 games. Alex Barkov, 21 points in 20 games. And you got Dadanoff, who was a KHL signing, 17 points in 20. It's funny. He's the one that worked out and not Shifachev.
Yeah. That's weird.
Keith Yandel. So, they're getting offense. Where is Ekblad?
I remember them talking last year that they weren't getting offense, right? Yeah. So it's pretty interesting. Where is Ekblad? What's he doing?
8 points in 20 games.
For a defenseman.
That's right around where he should be.
Yeah, he's still
young.
He's still young.
He was never projected to be an offensive guy. He's more of a two-way 35, 40-point guy.
Yeah.
So that's right about where he should be, 8 points in 20 games.
Yeah, it's very interesting. That's weird. You look at those numbers, that's not that bad.
Yeah.
No one's even talking about those players, though.
What's interesting is Reimer has not performed at all. I'm a Reimer fan. I know you said he's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy, but I don't think he is as good as other people think he is.
He's having a rough season, but he's had, he put up a 920 last year.
Yeah.
In 40 games, so.
He's garbage.
Like right now, he's sitting at an 888.
An 888.
Yep. That's not good enough.
No, that's not.
In 11 games, Luongo's played 10 games as a 925.
What a weird team.
Yeah.
Like other than Reimer's, but other than Reimer, most of those numbers are. They seem okay. They seem like a team, like a better team.
Yeah, their last 10, they're 3-6-1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does it say? Losing streak there?
They've
or
lost
streak?
2 in a row.
Man, I don't know. I don't know what to say about the Florida Panthers. Very confusing because they can't go through another rebuild because these guys are already young.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with Colorado when, I mean, they were a little older.
Yeah.
But, like, I get why they traded Duchesne because it was everyone.
That was a bad situation.
Yeah,
Sakic publicly. I mean, I give Sakic his props now. But,
yeah, that trade. Everyone goes about how Yzerman with the Drouin trade where he just sat there when Drouin requested the trade and he just sat there and made him wait it out. Look at Sakic.
Yeah.
Like he's just. How did you get that much for Matt Duchesne?
I don't know.
And
you got to wear number 19. That's how you do well as a GM.
Yeah. I don't think I would wonder how Ottawa fans like Duchesne. So I haven't heard a bunch from Ottawa fans of how they've liked Duchesne so far. He's played 5 games and yet to get a point though.
Yeah, but I don't think he's looked bad. I've seen some highlights where it looks like he's getting his chances.
Yeah.
Usually the way I judge things is even if depending on points, if you don't hear people talking about him, he's not doing bad.
Yeah, well, I know when Marner was going through his tough stretch, we were saying he still looks decent. It's just the points aren't there.
So in a brand new trade like that, I mean, he's played with Colorado his whole life. It's going to be an adjustment period. It's going to be something new.
Such a weird situation, though, because he grew up a Colorado fan, and at the end he wanted out of Colorado. That's weird.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't imagine if I grew up a Leafs fan, got drafted to the Leafs, and then requested a trade from my team I grew up cheering for.
Yeah.
That would be mind-blowing.
That would be. It would be. I mean, at the same time, though, he said he's gone through the rebuild before.
I get why he doesn't want to go through another rebuild.
You get to a certain age where you're like, you know what? It's time to win. So it'll just be interesting. I don't know, man. You got anything else to say? There hasn't been a lot of news on the Leafs lately.
No, it's been very quiet, and it's all speculation. And we try we brought up Ekman Larsson today, but we try for the most part to stay away from most speculation because who knows? It's not anything. The only reason we really brought it up today is because it's Ekman Larsson for one, and Bob Mckenzie wrote about it. Like if it was just speculation on Reddit, I don't think one's bringing it up.
Yeah, like I was just actually reading Brian Lawton tweeted about it too. He says about Oliver Ekman Larsson, a couple of known insiders talking about possible William Nylander deal. What a great deal that would be for the Maple Leafs. Obviously, on the flip side, that would be a disaster for Coyotes as elite right D are a rarity.
Well, Ekman Larsson is not right-handed, so I don't know what you were talking about.
I assume that's what he meant because he put elite DR, a rarity.
You sure he's not elite DR, like A-R-E-R, a rarity?
But he capitalized R.
I know, but
with
like
the D.
I do that.
No, I know. I guess that's right. I guess you're probably right. Yeah, if he's a lefty.
Because he shoots left.
That would make more sense then. It just looks weird, doesn't it?
Well, how many characters did he use? Is he over his...
I don't know. I didn't count them, man.
Count them up? No.
So either way, if they did a 1-for-1...
I don't think it's a 1-for-1. I think Nylander would be the centerpiece. And I would be visibly upset if it's Marner. I would be upset if it's Nylander. I could live with it.
If they did a 1-for-1, Nylander for Ekman Larsson.
I think Ekman Larsson would make our team better. Nylander would go on to score 40 goals somewhere.
I don't care. Who's winning the cup?
The Arizona Coyotes, led by Captain William Nylander.
William Nylander. That would be
Ekman
interesting.
Larsson, wasn't Ekman Larsson just named the Arizona's captain? Like they're going to trade him after. I thought at the beginning of this season they just named him captain
I don't even know. I'm
after
not sure.
Shane Doan.
Probably. That would make sense. How
So-
old is he now? Ekman Larsson?
26.
He's 26. Oh, yeah. You said that about Jake Gardner and him. Still young. Still.
Nylander's 21, so there's a 5-year gap. That would give us, like, when is the last time we've had a bona fide number one defenseman? Would you even consider, in his prime, did you consider Caberlet a number one?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
I think on most teams he would have been. No?
I liked him. I saw him more of a number two that was really good at putting up points. What about Brian McCabe? Brian McCabe was another one that... They're good ones. Like,
Brian Leach after his prime?
yeah, what did 15 whole games for the Leafs?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been. I don't think I've ever watched a Leaf team that had like a true number one guy. Like you argue you place him on any team and he's their guy.
Yeah.
And I know you can't say that because you put any player on Ottawa, they're not the number one guy because there's that one bum Carlson there. Such a bum. No,
Yeah.
Carlson's such a
Yeah. Worst player in the league, probably.
no.
Ekman Larsson. You know what? I remember actually a funny tweet back when the Hall for Larson deal was made.
Yeah.
And it was like, what's the owner there? Kevin Lowe
Yeah.
in Edmonton? Where it's like Kevin Lowe says to Chiarelli, he says, I said Ekman Larsson, not Larson. Hall for Ekman Larsson. So that's pretty funny.
What's interesting about Larson is his Corsi relative has always been typically way higher than his teammates.
Does he start in defensive zone starts, though?
This season he started 48%. Last season he started 57%.
In the defensive end?
Last season he also had a Corsi of 45%. But his relative Corsi was 0, so he was on average with everyone.
They sucked last year. They sucked this year.
This year he is at 52%. His relative Corsi is 6% higher than his teammates. And he's starting 51% of the offensive. This is a guy he has 2 20-goal seasons from the back end? Yeah, back-to-back 20-goal seasons.
That's crazy.
His career high is 55 points. It would finally give it... We don't really have a defenseman that can shoot the puck like a slap shot. Like, Gardner tries it a lot.
Yeah.
But we don't have, like... Most teams have a defenseman who is good for the one-timer on the power play.
Yeah.
I mean, that would give us one.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be interesting, man. But I think we should be wrapping up.
Yeah.
Again,
Do you quickly want to mention the Carolina-Washington back-to-back? Just make quick predictions.
yeah, I got us. We're gonna lose against Carolina, and we're gonna win against Washington.
We are gonna win all 4 of our next games. Win
10-game
10
winning
game.
streak?
No, I say we beat Arizona. We lose to Florida, and we lose to Carolina. Win to Washington.
Okay. All right, man. That's good.
Just because we'll win to Washington because we're coming for revenge
Yeah.
from the playoffs.
Constantly, every game now. They're gonna want it. They want to beat Washington any chance they get. So again, my name's Tate Harris.
I'm Cody Wall. You were cut off. Okay. Were you saying something?
Yeah, Cody, it was. No, I was just gonna say, and my Twitter is at Tate Harris 9.
You don't want to follow him. He's a boring follow.
I am pretty boring. If
And
you want to get in a good argument, I'm all right.
Yeah.
What's your Twitter there?
At Cody Wall 62. I have posted like 7 tweets. But
And-
there's so many retweets. Getting those marks for class.
Yeah, for sure.
Got to stay active for our social media class.
And then, of course, you can follow Leafs Fans United on Twitter as well. And look out for the YouTube video where we shot a video today.
Yeah,
We're not sure how it's going to look or if it's going to be synced correctly, but
we're using a good camera. The camera's, what is it, like a $4,000 camera from class?
I think so.
So
we'll see how the video
if it looks
quality
bad,
is.
it's our fault. It's not the
Yeah,
camera.
it's not the camera. So, anyways, guys, thanks for listening again. Cody, you gonna start the music or what? All right. Have a good night, guys.
Camera.
Jesus Christ.
That was loud, dude.